On December the 1st, 1992, a show with 4 boys named Stan, Kyle, Cartman and Kenny was made, the creators being called Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Their first episode, or should I say short film, was called The Spirit of Christmas and only available on VHS at the time. Trey and Matt would send this video to their friends for a laugh in a Christmas card.
Oh my God! Frosty killed Kenny! Dude, I told you not to put that fucking hat on Frosty's fucking head, now didn't I?
Yes, Eric Cartman was called Kenny at the time. Okay, now fast forward 3 years into the future. It's the year 1995 and the creators have just released a new short entirely made out of construction paper called Jesus vs. Santa. Now this episode was a big turning point for the show as the American actor George Clooney got hold of the VHS and made it go viral. This episode brought new characters in which we see a lot in the newer episodes of the show, such as Jesus, Santa, Wendy and Kevin Stoneley. And plus the 4 main characters all had their correct names now, with Cartman actually being called Cartman and not called Kenny. And they all have the South Park clothing which we all see today other than just random drawings. Okay, now possibly one of the biggest turning points for the show. The creators applied to get their show airing on Comedy Central. At first they denied, saying it had to be more focused on a single family like The Simpsons, and insinuated that it just wouldn't work. Until 1997 when they called back and gave them a job, since the VHS was only getting more popular and more popular by the day.
Oh, hello. Hey, wow, day 4. I knew you could do it. Hey, listen, I may not be around to send you a message tomorrow. It's been a bad night here for me. I'm kind of glad that I recorded my messages for you when I did. Hey, do me a favor. Maybe sometime you could check inside those suits in the back room. I'm going to try to hold out until someone checks. Maybe it won't be so bad. Yeah, I always wondered what was in all those empty heads back there. You know. Oh no.
Now, 13th of August 1997, the first official episode aired on the show now called South Park. The first episode was made entirely out of construction paper and was 22 minutes 7 seconds long. The episode took 3 months for the creators to make. At this point, Trey and Matt were completely burnt out, so that's when they started using Autodesk Maya and animation software instead. In this episode, we were introduced to way more characters than the last one, as this was an actual episode, such as Ike, Mr. Hankey, Miss Crabtree, Cartman's mom, Jimbo and Ned, Officer Bar Brady, Shelly, Randy and Pip, and Chef played by Isaac Hayes. This episode also was the first to have the original South Park intro which we all know today. At this point the show was mostly run on fart jokes and swearing.
Hey guys, Marv here, and I'm now gonna say every curse word in the English language, so
It wasn't until the 3rd of September 1997 that they went a little edgy. The episode was called Big Gay Al's Boat Ride. The episode consisted of making gay jokes but also pointing out the ridiculousness of homophobia.
Everybody but Stan.
Mr. Garrison, can I ask you a question?
Of course, Stanley. What is it?
What's a homosexual?
Oh, well, Stanley, I guess you came to the right person. Sit down. Stanley, gay people are evil. Evil right down to their cold black hearts, which pump not blood like yours and mine, but rather a thick, vomitous oil that oozes through their rotten veins and clots in their pea-sized brains, which becomes the cause of their Nazi-esque patterns of violent behavior. Do you understand?
I guess.
This sparked a change in the show. It went from just swearing for no reason to an actual satirical show making fun of pretty much everything. Like everything, trust me. They weren't afraid of bowing down to the censorship mob just for hurting people's feelings. This is what we liked about the show. It doesn't just make fun of one thing in particular, it goes after everything no matter how offensive it is. Going from Hitler jokes to making fun of celebrities, AIDS jokes to making fun of religious figures. They were doing it all.
Buddha, don't do coke in front of kids! Buddha, will you lay off that stuff already? It's getting to be a problem. Oh, and you're one to talk with all your internet porn? Watching porn isn't like doing coke.
The show was pretty much dying at this point for the next couple seasons, as they weren't putting that much effort into it at all. And every episode had the same jokes and the same plot until the creators of South Park decided to make a South Park musical which would be played on the big screens in theaters. The film was originally going to be called All Hell Breaks Loose, but the MPAA forced them not to, so they renamed it Bigger, Longer and Uncut, which was allowed. The movie costed $21 million to make, and they managed to pull $83.1 million box office. The plot of the movie was Terrence and Phillip, the Canadians, made a movie called Asses on Fire with a lot of cuss words in it. The kids saw it and started using the words. The parents found out, blamed Canada and started warring them, trying to execute Terrence and Phillip. The kids retaliate and start a revolution to save Terrence and Phillip. While this was happening, Kenny was killed by an explosive fart and is in hell with Saddam Hussein and Satan because he didn't go to church. Kyle's mum would then kill Terrence and Phillip with a gunshot. Kenny then came back to Earth with Satan and Saddam Hussein. Cartman gets into a fight with Saddam Hussein and kills him. Kenny gets one wish from Satan and he chose for everything to go back to how it was before. This would of course mean that Kenny has to go back to hell. But in this scene we get to see Kenny's face for the first time ever in the show, without him just being under a orange Parker jacket and with a muffled voice. And that's pretty much the South Park movie in a nutshell. Unfortunately, 4 months later on, the 11th of November 1999, Mary Kay Bergman, the voice actor of Wendy Testerberger, unfortunately took her own life by a gunshot. Being pretty much unknown to immediately popular can be a huge issue on mental health, as why so many celebrities end it. This made it complicated for Trey and Matt to get female voices in South Park, as for the rest of the season it was only male voices and no female characters. The show did eventually get female characters though. The show was at its highest point until the censorship began.
Going to get on that issue. I mean, I think if they let us show, if they would let us show it, that would be great.
No, wait, so are they still, there's a ban on showing?
Well, no, but this is why it's so interesting, because we're just getting it. Basically, They just heard today that we're going to do it again.
Reiner, you said the goo machine would work, but I got made fun of.
That's because there is no goo, Mr. Cruz. You see, I learned something today. Throughout this whole ordeal, we've all wanted to show things that we weren't allowed to show. But it wasn't because of some magic goo. It was because of the magical power of threatening people with violence. That's obviously the only true power. If there's anything we've all learned, it's that terrorizing people works.
That's right. Don't you see, Gingers? If you don't want to be made fun of anymore, all you need are guns and bombs to get people to stop.
That's right, friends. All you need to do is instill fear and be willing to hurt people, and you can get whatever you want. The only true power is violence.
Yeah.
A threat against the creators of South Park, a warning by a radical Islamic group right here in America, right here in New York, that they will end up dead because of a cartoon.
The South Park writers decided that they were going to stand for the First Amendment and free expression. So preemptively, we issued a threat and let South Park know that if they did, they would likely end up killed, like other people had been killed before them. We made that clear with a picture of Theo Van Gogh, who made a movie about Islam and who was killed on a street in Amsterdam.
For years, South Park has made fun of things usually too controversial to target, in particular, religion. Jews, Catholics, Mormons, Scientologists, Hindus, Buddhists, no one is safe. In last week's episode, the world's biggest religious figures came together, including the Muslim prophet Muhammad, and to poke fun at censorship guidelines against showing him. First, Muhammad was kept inside a moving truck, and then he wore a bear costume. Now one radical Muslim group has responded, warning the show's creators, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, that they will probably end up dead.
Personal story segment tonight. The program South Park is a controversial satirical show that often mocks religion. Last week, South Park went after the prophet Muhammad.
The show's creators were receiving death threats from extremists for showing an image of the Islamic prophet Muhammad, being investigated by the Church of Scientology, and even threatened to be sued by Tom Cruise. These threats eventually got so bad that Comedy Central made a complete 180 and took down the episodes, completely going against Trey and Matt's desire to keep them up. Meanwhile, Isaac Hayes, the voice actor of Chef, left because he didn't like them making fun of Scientology, when he was completely fine of them joking about other religions. This episode can still be bought on YouTube, but they censor out the image, again giving giving in to the extremists. Fast forward 4 years into the future, they do the exact same thing, but just a lot more of it. Comedy Central retaliated by not even letting the episodes be up for even a day because of the death threats and safety precautions. And they took down another popular episode called Super Best Friends while they were at it, which also depicted him. This was of course bowing down to the terrorists and letting them win because they were using violence against them, and a complete violation of their First Amendment. Don't get me wrong, Comedy Central can do whatever they want as they're a private company, but to only take it down because they're being threatened is a violation of the company's rights and Matt and Trey's rights. 2016 was a weird time for South Park as that whole show was beginning to come what they hated the most. Too repetitive and very political, more hating on Trump, and the episodes seeming to be the same for years until season 22 2018. The show was beginning to make the episodes less repetitive and more different. It was going good. We had a bunch of good episodes in that season, such as Nobody Got Cereal and Time to Get Cereal Part 2, the episode about Man Bear Pig and Al Gore, but we were also introduced to Tegrity Farms. In this season, Randy and Stan bought a weed farm and went out to live in the middle of Colorado Springs, about an hour away from South Park. The show would then fall into most of the episodes being about Tegrity Farms though. The viewers would say it's getting repetitive and boring, and Trey and Matt gave them the middle fingers back to them. It was funny, but the show was still going pretty reasonably good. 2nd of October 2019, South Park gets banned from China along with PewDiePie and a bunch of other people. One person even got banned for liking a South Park tweet. Trey and Matt made an episode called Banned in China where they basically expose the Chinese government for horrible things they do to their people. They also make fun of Disney and Marvel for always censoring out and changing most of their movies last minute to be suitable for China, because they're only doing it because they want more money and completely going against their country's morals.
Who else wants to go to China and get some of their money? Oh, for crying out loud. Let me guess, you work for a company trying to get Chinese people as customers. Wow, where'd you get that idea? It's okay. I'm sure there's plenty of Chinese people for all of us.
South Park also poked fun at the dictator of China, Xi Jinping, saying he looked like Winnie the Pooh. This episode sparked outrage from Xi, leading the episode to be banned. Trey and Matt luckily didn't bow down to the mob and responded with this official apology to China from Trey and Matt Stone. Like the NBA, we welcome the Chinese censors into our homes and into our hearts. We too love money more than freedom and democracy. Xi doesn't look like Winnie the Pooh at all. Tune into our 300th episode this Wednesday at 10. Long live the great Communist Party of China. May this autumn's sorghum harvest be bountiful. We good now, China? Which was pretty funny, I thought anyway. Now present day, the show's been going pretty good. They've started making specials around an hour long called the Pandemic Special and the Vaccination Special, making fun of COVID-19, which are overall pretty good. Anyways, I'm gonna end this video off now. Peace.
Don't be fucking rude. Are you kidding me?